This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
An in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motors studio, here's Steve Jones.
Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, best of new inventory, great pre-owned inventory with the Sunbury Motors guarantee. By the way, 18 pre-owned Explorers and Escapes on the lot. 18 pre-owned. How about that? And service department, whether it's quick lane or inspections, routine, difficult, they handle it all. It's really one-stop vehicle shopping with great people. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury, Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Yesterday, Bucknell won, and there was a lot of winning yesterday. I mean, they were able to beat Army 84-53. They're the number 2 seed behind American in the Patriot. And, of course, at halftime, Alex Rodriguez was there. Now, why was Alex Rodriguez there yesterday? Well, first of all, you heard Todd Hummel was in town. He also said he always wanted to meet the suit. Right? No?
We were actually born on the same day. Alex Rodriguez and I.
no wonder there's that bond. All right? Imagine how Matt Catrillo was yesterday announcing all that. That had to be fun for Matt, huh?
I immediately messaged him and said, "Are you allowed anywhere near A-Rod?"
Well, if you're wondering why, Mark Lohr and Jody Leiser, who happen to be two entrepreneurs, which he is now with Jump Platforms. It's called Jump Platforms.
No worries.
Mark and Jordy are both Bucknell grads.
That's all right. I'll let them know you're here.
And, in fact, Jordy is a trustee. So he was there to speak. And Lohr and Rodriguez, of course, now are going to have the majority stake. They're right now in the process of getting a majority stake of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He gets the shot at halftime, wins the youngster $10,000, and to his credit, acted as if he hit a World Series home run. He was excited as anybody for it.
Coach Griffin is Griffin is with us now.
Yes, and what a great moment. John, congratulations on the win. The halftime part, you're in the locker room. I'm sure you heard about it. What has it done just for the publicity of the program that something like that happened?
During my halftime conversation, so to say, with the group, I did hear like a crowd eruption. And this 10,000 shot actually has happened every game, every home game this season. Yeah. It's been students taking the half-court shot. So I naturally, interrupted by the eruption, thought somebody made it finally. And then walking out of the tunnel, someone said it was A-Rod. It's like, no way. The stars aligned on that one. A-Rod for the win.
Yeah.
It's an awesome moment, Steve. It was a great day for Bucknell yesterday. Like just tremendous day. We played well. Jay Wright was in the studio in CBS, and A-Rod hit the three. And, that's just a great day for Bucknell University, Bucknell basketball, and it's a viral moment that people can talk about throughout the world.
Yeah, and let's get – because I watched the game yesterday. And in watching the game, I thought that Josh controlled almost the entire tone and tenor of the game. Would that be an accurate observation as to how you watched it on the sideline, that beautiful orange jacket of yours?
Yeah. It was my wife and I had a little bit of a fashion show the night before, trying to put some combinations together to see how it would look on TV, but it worked out. And yeah, I mean, you are pretty accurate there. With Noah Williamson got elbowed in the face in our previous game, and it ballooned to the point where he couldn't see a majority of the week. So he had a little bit of a workout leading into the Army game, but there was no chance he was ready to play on a number of different fronts. And so I think what you saw from Josh Bascoe was a senior leader knowing in that moment we needed him to be the aggressor in our first 5 minutes. And he was. I mean, he set the tone, obviously making shots and some really tough ones at that, but he was a fearless attacker, and it elevated the rest of the group. So he's been like that all year. Personally, obviously, I am. I'm on one side of this with the biased opinion here, but I do think he's a first-team All-League player. I think he's played like that throughout the course of the year.
You've won 4 in a row at this stage, and you got a couple coming up, of course, starting. You've got Loyola down in Baltimore, and then after that, you got Holy Cross and Worcester. But let me ask you what the common threads have been in this 4-game streak, and how much has it meant to have veterans in your backcourt orchestrating this?
I mean, I think the common thread has been our defensive consistency. We've done throughout the entire year, quite frankly, we've done a really good job of playing a confident brand of defense night after night. And what that means really is, everyone, in my experience, in my coaching journey, in my playing journey, everyone wants to be a good defensive team. But in order to be a good defensive team, you have to have individuals that really care about defending. And we do. We have a bunch of individual talented players that care about stopping their matchup or being a part of a really good defensive team. So that's been a consistent theme for us, and that's been a reliable factor in our wins. And then in the last 4 games, really in the last 2 months, we've done a really good job of not turning the ball over. I would say there was a stretch in our non-conference, and we've talked about this in some shows here, is we just turned it over too much. So you want to really win the rebound battle. You want to win the assist-to-turnover battle. You want to hold your opponent to the 30% area field goal percentage, and you want to get what we call triples, as many 3 consecutive defensive stops as possible in a game, and after that, you just play. So we've done a nice job of checking those boxes, being a physical group, and really at the end of the day, playing for one another, playing for the name on the front of our jersey, and it's showing right now as we continue to improve at a really important time of the year.
Yeah, some people call them triples, some call them turkeys. But you get 3 consecutive stops. That's great. By the way, and you already know this, but I'll mention this for the fans. Josh has been named the Patriot League Player of the Week. So,
deserved, very deserved. I'm happy for him. I mean, look, in today's world of college athletics, and you talk about it probably almost every day, some transfer, for whatever reason, majority of the transfers are looking to find a better opportunity that they think is for themselves. And Joshua Bascoe is a great example of someone that just stayed true. And his first 2 years probably weren't as great as he thought they would be. And his parents are tremendous people. He's got a younger sister that's a freshman. She's a star leading scorer at Villanova. And there was a coaching change. And through his own work and his own resilience, here he is now playing again, first-team All-League player for a team that's fighting for a championship. And those stories, I think, need to be highlighted a little bit more because at the end of the day, you're going to find success if you just stick with it a little bit longer than that immediate immediate success that you're looking for.
John, look, I'm going to follow up on that with you because I think that guys like Josh and a couple other players you have, culture is that loose word that's thrown around. And I don't know if you've got a transfer here, transfer there, and it's a conglomerate of transfers, what your culture is. But when you've got guys that are there, embrace it, you know them, they know you, and they know what's expected. That, to me, is where culture develops, and that's been one of the underrated things, and it's the football example now. But why did Ohio State get to the national championship game? Why did Penn State get to the national semifinals? They were very selective in transfers. Now, it's a bigger roster, but they had roster retention. When you've had roster retention, John, you've been able to get someplace with your team because I think you've started in 2 years to develop your Bucknell culture.
Yeah, I mean, the buzzword of, I would say, all high-achieving Fortune 500 level companies is culture.
Yep.
And I think it's thrown around very loosely. I think it's not a simple algorithm by any stretch, and sometimes you get lucky with the personalities that you either walk into or bring into your program. In this case, of course, in college athletics, because of the age of the student athletes that you're working with, being able to spend more than 9 months with them is critically important to not only just the idea of culture, but the idea of like building a relationship. So
yes,
you want to have a culture of like-minded people. That's true. So what you're referring to from a recruitment standpoint of getting like-minded individuals, it certainly can help this idea of culture. And at the end of the day, I think if you were to poll 100 coaches, everyone's got a different bullet points on culture. But you ultimately want a group of people that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And when you have a group of people that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, typically they're going to do whatever it takes to help your organization be successful. And so that's what I have right now. I think all coaches are trying to find pieces to fit that puzzle. It's become increasingly more challenging, but a 9-month relationship is just so hard to actually get to the core of somebody. And then if you can't get to the core of somebody, whether they want to be a part of it or not, there's going to be a breach in communication. And so, I'm very fortunate. I walked into a locker room of players that were, hungry, for sure, hungry for success and all committed to Bucknell in hopes of competing for a Patriot League championship. And it wasn't smooth sailings, that stairway to success that they say. We didn't have that stairway. We lost 7 in a row this season. But I think because we have a group of resilient human beings as individuals that come from just amazing families and backgrounds, and I have an amazing staff that all look at this as if they're the head coach and care about it greatly as if their own future is on the line and their win-loss record's on the line. That certainly helps. Mm-hmm. And we try to really make every day the best we can. And that's where sports is such a unique environment. And one day you can have A-Rod hit a half-court shot. You can be on USA Today and CNN, and Coach Jay Wright is speaking about Josh Bascoe on CBS at noon, and then the next day you could lose. And so it's just one of these very interesting environments, and I'm very fortunate to have a group of young people that are open-minded to learning and super competitive, and we try to foster that as well. And so far, we've put ourselves, they've earned it, but we put ourselves in position to compete for a championship.
You're number 2 in the league because we talked about the defense. You're number 2 in the league in 2-point efficiency and number 1 in 3-point percentage. So 2-point number 2. How important have those paint touches been and your 2-point efficiency around the basket to open up your 3-point game?
Yeah, I mean, very, I would say simply very important. But we have two really skilled players and that can score around the rim. One, I believe, will be in contention for Player of the Year, and Noah Williamson. He's uniquely skilled to get to the rim in a variety of different ways. But we practice moving the ball quickly from one side of the floor to the other, hopefully trying to break apart the defenses that we go against, and then reading what's available and then attacking it. And for the most part, I think our quality of shot has contributed heavily to our field goal percentages, our lack of turnovers as well, and the fact that I have a group that loves the game. I'm very lucky. Yeah. I'm very grateful to have a group of young players that love the game. And what I mean by that is they come in the gym by themselves, individually, with a coach, with the shooting machine, and they just continuously work on improving their skills. And it shows at this time of the year. That's been my experience my entire career, and that's a model that we live by here.
Well, they're also lucky they have a coach that loves the game as well. Not all coaches do. You do, and they're fortunate to have that. So, John, congratulations on all of this. Best of luck at Loyola and then Holy Cross, one at a time as we go, and then when tournament time comes, get it going.
Thank you, Steve.
John Griffin, the outstanding head basketball coach at Bucknell. We will come back. More in a moment. Great to have you with us today. Brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. Online, sunburymotors.com, on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Forget the groundhog. The sales manager at Sunbury Motors Kia saw his shadow on the lawn, so that can only mean one thing. Huge discounts at Sunbury Motors Kia.
Wanna see ya in a Kia. Sunbury Motors Kia.
Hurry into Sunbury Motors Kia now and save up to $5,000 on 2025 Kia Sorentos with third-row seating. Sunbury Motors Kia has 14 to choose from. Save $36.34 on 2025 all-wheel drive Kia Sportages. And SMC has 25 available. You can save even more on Sorentos and Sportages with $750 in additional savings for owner loyalty. Save $32.21 on the hottest-selling third-row V6 SUV, the 2025 Kia Telluride, with 17 to pick from. More winter and early spring. Forget about all that. Let's be alive in 2025 with huge savings on new Kias through the end of February at Sunbury Motors Kia on the Strip in Hummel's Wharf.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.